Big question is, what should we be doing now to stop the spread of the virus? Doctors and scientists at the University of Washington say it is important to be prepared. KOMO's Suzanne Fawn joins us live from Seattle with more on what that preparation looks like. Suzanne?
Well, today I checked with hospitals and school districts and people in our community, and they all have different preparation plans.
So we don't know. Nobody knows for sure.
There's a lot we still don't know about the coronavirus, but health authorities say it's important to be prepared. Gary Magnuson gets it.
When we have grandkids, we wash hands, we do all that stuff.
And he's gone a step further.
Well, we have masks when we think we need them, so we already have those.
At this playground, parents shared their concerns.
We were talking about that last night, is that the response seems to be greater than what it has been for other viruses in the past.
We reached out to several school districts, including Everett, Seattle, and Tacoma, and asked them, are there any plans in place if staff or students need to stay home? Are you telling parents what to do to prepare? On the phone, Tacoma Public Schools tells me the Department of Health is guiding school districts on what to do if there is an outbreak.
Among all of the options at their disposal, should we have an outbreak in Washington, could be the closure of schools to prevent the spread of the virus.
In a note to parents, Shoreline School District specifically said it's disinfecting classrooms every day, using recommended disinfectants to wipe down common frequent contact areas on a daily basis, such as desks, doorknobs, phone handsets, etc. We've also checked in with Harborview Medical Center about what they're doing to prepare. A spokeswoman tells me an emergency response team trains daily. The team reviews supplies, reviews clinical care, and trains with protective gear.
Warning about the fentanyl crisis. Bellevue police say 2 teenagers overdosed on fentanyl last weekend. They survived, but a mom who lost her 16-year-old son wants parents to hear her warning. KOMO's Tammy Mutasa is live in Bellevue now. Tammy?
Yeah, Mary, for the first time since her son died, Olga Davidoff says she's speaking out to save other families. She told us her heart goes out to the 2 Bellevue High School teenagers who overdosed on fentanyl. While they survived, she knows it's not always the case.
19, I walked to his room just to cover him. It was early morning before I go to bed, and I found his cold body.
It's a sight no mother should ever have to see. Olga found her 16-year-old son, Lucas Bayer, dead from a fentanyl overdose. Lucas was a football player at Skyline High School. Olga says he thought he was buying a Percocet on the street for his pain.
I couldn't understand what's going on, why my son is dead. He is 16. He's supposed to go to school.
Just like Lucas, police say this weekend, 2 teen boys admitted they bought Percocet from the street before they overdosed at their homes just minutes apart. Detectives say one is a 17-year-old boy who lives in Bellevue. His dad did CPR to bring him back. Police say the other is an 18-year-old boy who lives in Yarrow Point. He had to be revived using Narcan.
We can't even really worry about addiction. We have to worry about life and death. One pill, sometimes the first pill that you take, could be lethal.
Detectives say cartels are making very high-quality pills, so the fake ones laced with fentanyl look just like real prescription pills.
These pills are very dangerous, and you just cannot assume anymore that any pill that you get off the street is legitimate.
Olga says by warning other families of the dangers, she's honoring her son's life.
First, I felt it is just my tragedy. I am the mother. I am the one. It doesn't happen to my friends. It doesn't happen to almost anyone who I know. But it's society tragedy, and the only way for us to fix it is as a society.
Police believe last night's shooting near the King County Courthouse was not a random act.
Detectives say the shooter knows the 18-year-old who was injured. With all the recent crime in that area, we wanted to know where the police emphasis patrols were at the time.
KOMO's Michelle Esteban is live with an Operation Crime and Justice report. Michelle?
Well, hi, guys. No, they were not here. We asked that question, and I'll tell you, the reason they tell me is because the courthouse was closed when the shooting happened. But police really underscore the fact that they patrol this neighborhood 24/7. But those extra resources, like that van that you see there, that is basically a precinct on wheels. They weren't here.
It's kind of scary. It's kind of creepy. I mean, there's
You know, there seems to be more of a police presence, but still.
But still, this happened a shooting steps away from the courthouse, the same spot, the same safety concerns we've been reporting on in our 3rd Avenue chaos reports.
They kind of need to have somebody here all the time if they want to protect people. But it just seems like they can't be everywhere.
Yeah, it's sad, sure. It's you know, obviously sad for the victims and all that, and it's disappointing, I guess. And
he works out of the courthouse. Guy lives downtown. He heard the gunshots last night around 7:30 right here at 3rd and Yesler, so close to the courthouse. Police still looking for the gunman.
There wasn't anybody around, and it's just, you never know when it's going to happen. You have to always be ready.
He's talking about the cops, the SPD Mobile Command Unit, a precinct on wheels. It parks where needed. It wasn't here.
Why were there no emphasis patrols there at 7:30 at night?
Emphasis patrols are typically going to happen during hours where people are arriving to and leaving from the courthouse.
Those stepped-up patrols came after this, repeated assaults on staff and jurors. Some of those attacks were caught on video. SPD stats from last year underscore the crime. They were dispatched to more than 600 crimes and logged nearly 6,000 service hours in this one block.
That neighborhood is patrolled 24/7. Every day of the year, we have officers who are patrolling that neighborhood.
SPD Sean Whitcomb said no gun violence is acceptable, but underscored this was not a random shooting. They believe the shooter and the 18-year-old shot know each other.
When there's gun violence in the city, whether it's near the courthouse or elsewhere, it will be treated as a priority.
Nobody's panicking. We shouldn't be driven by fear.
The governor tells me his administration was quick to get out ahead of this virus as people here watch with concern how people in other parts of the world are dealing with this outbreak.
We're listening to the national, international, and our local health officials who are telling us that we need to take this very seriously, and that's the approach that we're taking.
New numbers just out from the State Department of Health say there have been 29 people tested. 26 have come back negative, still just the one positive. And the results for 2 people are still pending. And 355 people are under public health supervision just as a precaution because they've come in contact with a confirmed case or they've returned from China in the last 14 days.
how prepared are we to handle this?
As prepared as we can be, and I think that's the right approach. So I'm meeting with my staff basically on a daily basis. Yesterday I talked to our experts about this, about how we can build capacity to have more people available to do the research on people who've had contacts, so that if we do get a person with an infection, we can make sure we monitor everyone they've had a contact with.
As he looks at other countries such as Italy and South Korea, where there's concern in public places, he says we should brace ourselves for the possibility of having to cut down on being in crowds.
What kind of things are you talking about as far as that?
Well, I don't want people to think this is happening right now, but other communities have had to essentially reduce some of the social activities that we've had. Italy is doing that right now as a necessity. We're not at this position, and I hope never to be in that position.
And we are just now getting word that the State Health Department has selected the Maple Lane School right here in Thurston County as a possible new site for an isolation setup. It is a former juvenile detention center, now turned isolation site should it be needed. Right now, no one is selected to go there.